The borrows are going to be hot, hard. Good morning, everybody. Man, you got a nice look. Market's on steroids right now. It's Thanksgiving week. Man, it's going to be, I think pigs are going to fly this week. I'd be really careful with shorting. There's going to be a lot of stocks, speculative names like gapping up and down and flying around today. This is going to be a good week to trade, but it is going to be like, I think it's going to be one of those weeks where things look really extended and they can just keep going. Like you're starting to see like all sorts of all sorts of stocks are starting to fly around. Yeah, let's take a look at these gappers and then let's see what else is going on. I mean, there's a whole shitload of stocks that are on the booze cruise today, it looks like. So we got CLA here. Ink steel to merge with lighter, sensor maker. I mean, that's, first of all, lighter is like what laser does and VLDR does. So if you see here, like laser was on the hunt yesterday, right? So this CLA, this is like a day one. It's just starting to trade. I think, man, this thing could be hot. I'd only hit this on dips, but it kind of reminds me of NK yesterday. If you saw NK, this is like what I mean when I say hit on dips. Like, this NK gapped up like 30-40%, and you can lose track of it a little bit at the open. But look what happens here. It starts to grind its way down. And when you start to see it absorbing at a level, and it usually be the 9 EMA, 20 EMA, some type of combo, but somewhere in there. But when you start to see it hold, right, and you start to see it grind, that's when you want to really let this thing, push, right? So you got like that kind of action on this. That's kind of what I'm expecting on the CLA today. Ideally, this is up like 48%. So we can't just chase it up at the open. We got to let it pull back, let it roll, hold, and then we'll see what goes down. All right, SPWH, boom, 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 boom. Man, I want to worry about, see this VLDR. These things are all popping here. So look at this FUBO. This thing is hot to trot again today, but this is now, man, two big gaps in a row, three gap days in a row. I can't trade this thing to the long side now, but it's also too early to short on this. Like we're in that kind of like weird sweet spot where it's too extended to really long it on strength. If it washes out like today, like if it dips down like $5, $6, $7, $3, $4, $5 at the open and it starts to hold, I think that's where you could start to get, long on this name again. Like, if it pulls back to say the 50 spot, then you got something here. But like if you're going to try to come in hot on this thing and just like go commando and do an ORB on this at like $60, then you're going to have a very high probability of shakeouts when you get into that level. So just be kind of mindful of that. Same thing like this QS. Now you're just getting like too long in the tooth here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. This is like a same thing. Like if this thing kind of wipes out and maybe comes back, into the, under triple digits, then I think, like if it comes back and swooshes back down here, then I think you could try along on this. The key is always the previous day's high. If it can hold the previous day's high, then you're still in the zone where you can long it, right? But if it starts like busting under that, then at that point, right, like it may be just like a trend starting to change on it. So you got to be a little bit careful on this, but I can't chase this thing up. It's on my list, but I can't chase that thing up unless it just dipped down huge. Same thing here. You got Peloton. You're on like day 6, day 7 of the move. So this thing's got some heat. Now this is like the first big day. They just announced some news. Takeover Precore, don't know what that is. Blah, 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 blah. And you got a whole shitload of kind of upgrades. From Wedbush, but whatever. This could be another one that's going to be a little bit tricky, but you're going to have to wait for it to pull back a little bit. I think when you're on like day 5, day 6 of a move on a stock, you almost always want to let it pull back. Always want to let it pull back, and you want to always let it pull back. See, just like the 9 EMAs at $140, so like you can't really chase it up. So what you want to really be doing is like looking for some of the momentum ones that are like just starting its move. Like, like this laser had only one big day so far. Like even though it's up a few days in a row, you had one big day. So like this one's got more room to run. I think BLDR, like you had one big day so far, and it was really just into the close yesterday. So I think like something like this is going to have a chance on it also. DM, this is Desktop Metal. This thing went from $10 to $25. Yesterday you started to hold on that 20 SMA. That one can work pretty good. So add that to the list. PLTR, yesterday was its first big day, so this one's got room to catch up too, right? So what we're looking for is we want to capitalize on the momentum of the market, but we don't want to do is like this AI, right? This is up $72 the last 4 days. Like we can't necessarily come in too hot on some of these, but there are a whole host of names that are setting up that may be starting their moves that could start to do. So add PLTR to the list. That's top of the list. All right. We got DM. That one, top of the list. We got Laser. Top of the list. You can even roll in with like an SBE, right? You got almost a kind of triple tap breakout sitting up. Now this thing seems like it just trades a little bit choppy, but that's also top of the list. Let me check out INAC. Yeah, INAC is a nice one too, right? Like you got this nice kind of curls for the girls. Now this one trades a little too zigzaggy for me, probably due to lack of liquidity, but still looks fairly decent. Not bad. Shreyas, I like that. Snow, top of the list. It's not extended yet, right? So add Snow to the list. That's perfect. Snow, Peloton. Now, we'll talk about some spec ones. This F-cell starting to heat up here. You're starting to break over its trend line. You got a gap of about 5%. You're gonna already got 1 million shares in volume. Like I think this one is top of the list. BLDP. We got a 22. We got a breakout setting up at 22. It looked like it was going to do it a couple days ago, but it was too loose. But now look, see, you've kind of tightened up a little bit. That's good, right? So like this thing, if it can get kind of 22-ish, 2180-ish, like I think that one's going to be okay. A name that I think really looks good is this CIIC. See this CIIC? Like you had this big kind of push, now you've like held back, and you're sitting here kind of just grinding around the 9 EMA, 20 SMA. Like this thing's hot to trot, right? This thing, woo! Look at that bad boy. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, I think, look, if we do this, add in an alert, right around 31. Yeah, I think 31's a big spot on this bad boy. This thing is like, we got 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests on the 15-minute chart. Like this is a little bit more clean on the 30. That one hot. That one hot. That's top of the list right there. We add that with FCell, BLDP. Hey, somebody had just mentioned INSG. I think INSG actually could be something pretty good too. You've got a longer term breakout over here, like kind of in this 15 spot. You know, you broke out and kind of rolled back into that 9 EMA. You're starting to hold here and like grind here. If it can do that and hold, I think you're going to be in a real nice spot where, you know, you may be able to, kind of dicker and deal on this thing. I think this thing could speed up. It looks like, if you're looking like more of a 30-minute chart here, it looks like this 15 is going to be like where, it looks like 15 is going to be the spot where these things really start to pick up here. So I'd set an alert on this bad boy. Like you can see how it's kind of been like just rubbing against that 15 spot. If it can get over, then we're going to be good to go. Oh, yeah. I'm here. You know it. What else you guys looking at? Solo? Okay. Solo is going to look similar to FCell and some of these other ones. But this is like the similar kind of thing. If this thing rips over about 8, I think that's where it speeds up. Armand, how many stocks do we need today? What's going on over here? How many stocks do we need? Yeah, 8, I would probably put an alert there, see what's going on. Look, Lemonade looks okay too. You're on day 5, day 6 of the move. So like, that's not a priority of mine. It's on the list. But like I'm really trying to find like, I'd really ideally like to find some stocks that, right? Just like I don't feel so dirty playing. Now, JMIA has broke out, all right? So now as long as it kind of rests over this 40 to 41 area, I think it's okay. Now, a big portion of its move has been used up, right? It was at, the bounce spot started at about 24, and you've just been grinding higher. Now, the one thing with JMIA is it's a daily trader for us, meaning like as long as it keeps trending, you know, we'll watch it for intraday setups. You know, yesterday you can tell was like kind of just a rest day. It was moving with no rhyme or reason yesterday, which is typical. Like oftentimes a stock may break out, and because it's like actually been running for a little bit of time, what happens is it's got to kind of marinate over that breakout spot. It's got to hold there and build, and then it can go and really start to shred. So, you know, this is like, I think this is still something that you want to keep on your watch list. Like I said, it's a daily trader for us at this point. We've been hitting, you know, pretty much every dip and every pullback on this thing for quite some time. It's a trender. So, you know, you can keep day trading, but I don't know if the swing trade entry is there. It's kind of like GrowG, right? GrowG's already broke out. And see like how you had like a couple rest days after it broke out? So like you broke through and then you kind of chilled for like 2 days, and then you started up again. And kind of that's what JMIA is doing here. You know, you broke through. Now you've got like a couple rest days here that are like starting to hold up, and then it's starting to kind of push over that. So just be mindful. Like those are kind of the things that need to happen sometimes. Oftentimes when you have a stock that breaks out, but it's been really kind of running like hot into the breakout, they just don't have like the steam to go right away. So they got to like chill out a little bit. I do think it's going to go, kind of watch that 44, you know, kind of watch that like 44 zone on it. I do like Baidu also. You know, it's been acting like a little bit of a sloot the last couple days, but I think it's because it's just too loose here. And so, you know, the spikes are getting faded off on it, but the dips are getting bought hard on it. So I do think you kind of keep it on the watch list, but it's not a priority. LI is a priority at this point. LI is a priority. See how like how you just been like rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and holding here. Now like you're starting to break over that trend line. So you're a little bit stuck under this 20 SMA here. But if you can kind of push over that today, I think that you're going to be in a good spot here. You got a real tightness of range. A real tightness of range over here. I think this is like top of the list for us today. You know, it's one of the few that's like not extended. I think it's easier to trade than NIO too. You know, NIO almost does too much volume. Like there's like a sweet spot in volume. But like if you see here, like NIO does like 130 million. So it's just such a grinder sometimes. Like it can go, but it's almost just too thick for me. I kind of like LI and XPEV. I think they just trade a little bit smoother for me personally. They all look fine. I think LI's just got a little bit more room to go. You know, and XPEV is also kind of rounded here. These are just bottoming patterns. I think they look pretty good, but they're just going to have to... I think LI's probably the one with the more clean levels of interest. And, you know, a lot of times, like when we're trading, you know, or at least when I'm making my watch list, like a lot of my watch list is kind of based on not just like overall patterns on the daily, but is there like... is there a level or something I can base my trade off? So if I have like an ORB pattern or a quick pullback pattern or a flag pattern or whatever it is that I may trade, if I can base it around some type of level of supply and demand, then the trade becomes a much easier trade because we're able to kind of trade along it. So that's why I like some of these trades like, you know, INSG or CIIC, because I got like a specific kind of spot where I can take this thing up or down. Yeah, so it looks pretty good, Josh. Riot, Crisp. Yeah, these are all, you know, these are all probably daily traders for us. Daily traders at this point. If anything is going to go, if these stocks are going to go bonkers, like this is probably the week to do it. You know? I think spec stocks, I don't like trading small caps, but I think this is probably the week to do it. This F-Cell, we got F-Cell, Laser, VLDR. You know, you want to find a couple of these little goofy McGee's, and they're gonna be shredding. FUV2, set an alert at 15. It's very natural to let your watch list just get a little bit too big during these kind of like hot times in the market. But just, you know, be mindful of them and find good entries. I think that's all we can do. But the market itself is red hot. Good. Yeah, we don't need to add anything else. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, the main gapper that I think the CLA on a pullback is, if we really need something that's going to get rowdy and stress us out, that's where we go. Crisp looks fine. GP also looks fine. I think, yeah, GP's like kind of fits the bill of kind of something a little bit more specky that's like rounding. Like this thing, that's a good find, Alvaro. This thing is like something that could get juicy. Good. Good. Million stocks going. The question is just, which one's gonna be yours? Solar stock still fine. Yeah, JMI, I think Snow, PLTR, we're gonna have, he's gonna cook at some point. Yeah, FSLR trades like a slut though. That's the list, I'm sticking to it. Cool. That's the list. I don't think we need it anymore. How many stocks can one man watch, right? Well, quite a bit. I don't think it's going to be a good week to get we may get some select shorts for a couple hours here. where we take something down because it got too extended or whatever. But don't think like we're gonna have like a very easy shorting environment. Like if things in Thanksgiving week, there was one day where things just got so frothy and parabolic, we had to take all the battery stocks down, and it lasted for like a few hours, right? And then the next day they're like kind of running right back up and running. So that's the list, guys. Let's go do what we do. Let's have a little fun. I think we're gonna have ourselves a little pizza party. This FEYE might go too today. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's make this.